I now recognize the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Moore, who's also the former Speaker of the House of the state of North Carolina's House of Representatives.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for hosting us here. This has been an incredible visit, and this is an absolutely amazing facility, an amazing base. I'll tell you, with the continued consolidation of our domestic industrial base, it seems to me more important than ever to recognize and support the critical role of our existing industry. Like back home in North Carolina, for example, we have a lot of companies that contribute greatly to the supply chain when it comes to national defense. In Shelby, which is actually my home county, we actually have one of the very few copper smelting and refining facilities in the United States. There's talk about the availability of rare earth minerals, but you also have to have the capability to produce those. And so they actually have a facility that produces 100% of copper, pure copper from copper scrap. And the Department of Defense, of course, has identified high purity copper as a strategic metal essential to our national security. So, Dr. Ormsby, with copper being DOD's second most utilized material, which China, though, currently controls, as I understand, 50% of the global smelting capacity, what are the national security consequences when our domestic smelting and refining capabilities lag behind those of our global competitors?
Sir, thank you for the question. I think you're hitting on the critical issue, honestly, that Mr. Frankston brought up early on about the priority for critical chemicals, critical minerals, critical materials. We are seeing a number of issues exactly like the one that you bring up in our supply chains, particularly down very far into the supply chains, often at levels below where our prime contractors would even recognize that there is an issue, that they can't get that specific material that is necessary for our weapon systems, and that's where the priority on the critical chemicals, minerals, materials really plays into our strategy here and where we're investing, because it is a big issue for the department.
So how would you say export restrictions by other nations affect the ability to refine and produce copper in the U.S.?
Sir, it's obviously a major issue for us, and to the point, it's not just about getting the materials that we need. It's also about being able to process them, right? And that's why we have such a priority on this investment.
So let's say if another nation were to manipulate global prices, what actions could the DoD take to safeguard domestic manufacturing?
Sir, thank you for the question. Would you like to take it, or would you like me to answer, sir?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to help. So as Dr. Ormsby noted, it's not just at the mine itself, it's not just at the processing itself, it's across the entire supply chain for our critical minerals and materials. And China has absolutely been manipulating the market, has been placing export controls, and so that is one of the reasons why we've placed such a high priority. It's why one of the earliest executive orders from this administration was on critical minerals. It's why we have a presidential determination, a waiver to be able to use DPA for critical minerals and materials across the entire supply chain so that we can rebuild or reinforce our domestic capability and capacity, or in the case of, for the mines itself and where these minerals are coming out of the earth, geography matters. And some of this isn't just always not available in the U.S., and so that's why it's leveraging key partners and allies that we can utilize, certainly at the mine level, but then build the processing and the supply chain capabilities internal to the U.S.
And to that point, even beyond metals, I think it's equally important that we be able to identify, for example, and be able to source textiles. That you don't think of textiles a lot of time when you're just talking about national defense, but the ability to have the proper uniforms, the proper material for our fighting men and women is critical. And of course, the Berry Amendment requires the DoD to procure textile and clothing products made with nearly 100% U.S. content, and ensures a stable domestic supply chain that will protect us from other nations that seek to manipulate it. So I guess it's kind of a softball question here, but how important is maintaining an independent domestic textile supply chain improve the resiliency in the event of a near-peer conflict? Either of you want to take it's fine.
Thank you for the question. It's absolutely critical. It's not just in clothing. Those textiles and materials go into our weapon systems themselves too. So we need to have that domestic capability.
Yeah, we're very proud in North Carolina to have a significant production capacity of textiles. So
Yeah,
I won't start the fight about being the home of flight since we're in Ohio right now, but we do have some textiles.
I thank the gentleman. We'll go ahead and start our second panel now.